What has music done for my mental health? Honestly, when I think about music and my mental health, I think about being in the hospital and listening to Drake. He really embodied everything it seemed that I was going through at the time, and he really got me through his music. So shout out to Drake.
I got that
Dysh.
Hey y'all, it's Onika. You are dishing today with Dainty Dish, guys. Welcome to the show. It's all kinds of crazy Wednesday today, and we have some guests on the show, Meshach and Bryan. Say hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up?
So, Meshach and Bryan are from Mindful MCs. We're going to get into what that is in a little bit, but first we're going to start talking about their mental health journeys. So, Meshach, we're going to start with you.
Cool.
Let's start with the wonder years, the early years. What were things like for you as a kid?
For me, as a kid, I dealt with a lot of loneliness, and I know that contributed to making the mental health issues that I had worse, and probably is where a lot of the roots of them come from, because I grew up with a single mother of 4 kids. Didn't see my dad too much, so I didn't see my parents very much, and just spent a lot of time alone. Not too many neighbors around, and it was just a lot of thinking and overthinking and things like that. And I think I developed a lot of habits of worrying and overanalyzing that made, depression and anxiety and things like that worse as I got older.
Okay. And what was experiencing depression and anxiety at that age like? Like, what was that like for you?
I honestly didn't know what it was. Like, I didn't know there was a term for what I was experiencing. I thought I was just a quiet kid or a shy kid. But I would lock myself in a closet, for hours and just stay in a bed and not go to birthday parties or fun events and things that other kids were going through. So it just made me feel like I didn't really belong anywhere. When I was a kid, what I was going through, I had a lot of those feelings that I didn't really find my tribe, because also, like we spoke about before, my background being half black, half white as well, I feel like tied into that, because I wasn't fully embraced by either community. So it was just kind of a sense of just feeling really lost and alone for a lot of time as a kid. But there were some good times too, because I had 3 siblings that lived with me, some other siblings, so we would get together and do all these crazy adventures and things like that. So I'm not going to say it was all bad times, but I feel like that's where a lot of the roots of the mental health issues go back.
Mm-hmm. And what was school life like?
It was similar. I didn't really talk to too many other kids or have many friends. In school, I liked to play basketball. That actually did a lot for my anxiety and depression, just shooting hoops. I was a really good shooter. I would just shoot for hours every day. I would even shovel the court and play in the wintertime in the snow, so that was a good distraction. I like to read a lot, but in terms of being the life or party or popular kid or any of that kind of thing, I was a complete opposite. I was the shy kid in school that pretty much didn't talk to anybody or didn't really say much in school.
Okay. And at the time, during your teen years especially, what was going on with your mental health?
I would say that the depression and anxiety got worse, but I didn't really experience mania and psychosis until later. Maybe just some mild forms of mania in high school. I actually remember some days that I felt like I was a human, being chased by lions in the plains of Africa when I was in my high school, just because of how many people there were and how chaotic it was. Sometimes I just feel really trapped and I had to get away from everybody, because I was I was vulnerable. So I would hide. I would go in corners. I would go where nobody else was. Mostly just hung out with my brother or people who played basketball, just shoot a few hoops. And the depression, I would skip classes because I feel social anxiety being around other kids in my class, so I would just skip classes and go to the library and read books. I got really into music too, drumming. That really helped me stay focused. My dad is a Juno Award-winning musician, and my uncle's a Grammy Award-winning musician, so I grew up around it a lot. So I got into drumming, and my last couple of years in high school, I'd actually play for like hours every day, like 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 8 to 10 hours on the weekends, and that kind of helped give me a positive focus when I was dealing with that depression and anxiety. It was good to express it too, because music, you were talking about music and mental health, it really helps you to express feelings that you held in, so that was helpful growing up.
Okay. And you talked about mania very briefly just now. I just want to know, what was the first episode for you like?
Yeah, the first episode that I can clearly remember was in 2010. I was 22 years old, and I was in Shanghai, China. We were on an exchange trip over there, and I learned later that the time difference can trigger mental health symptoms. So for me, it triggered the first manic episode I really remember clearly. And so one of the main things I remember is just having this incredible amount of confidence that was very unusual for me, and being incredibly social as well. Like I was just talking to all these random people on the streets of China, having conversations, and that was just so unlike me. So I knew something was up, and I was super shy. I didn't talk to girls too, and I was hitting on girls, getting girls' phone numbers, and I was just like laughing uncontrollably, like maniacally, in restaurants. I was laughing a lot when things were inappropriate, and I couldn't stop, and I was barely on any sleep. Like I was sleeping like not at all a lot of nights, or maybe 1 hour, like barely at all. So it was something new for me, because I'd never experienced anything like. I kind of thought I was like, I just became a new person when I went to China, but then I learned later from like more and more manic episodes, that's what I was experiencing.
So you just described your first manic episode to me, and boy, can I relate. That's tough. That's really, really tough. What were you thinking was happening when this was going on? Like, what was going on in your mind?
Well, in my mind, I was reading a lot of positive thinking books at the time, and I just believed that I was manifesting all of these dreams into my life, and that I almost had like a superpower. Mm-hmm. That I just had this charisma and this like spiritual energy about me that could propel me to do anything, and just convince anybody to do anything, and just like learn anything, just much faster than it was almost like that movie Limitless with that pill. When you take that pill, it's like when I experienced that mania, it just felt like there were no limits. It's like everything was possible, and you really believe it. And then the problem, though, what happens is when eventually that energy burns out, you get depressed, and then you start regretting all the things you were saying and all the promises you were making and all that kind of stuff.
So manic depressive.
Yeah.
So how many manic episodes would you say do you think you've had in your lifetime?
I can't count at the moment. I can't put a number on it. I was hospitalized 6 times, all for manic episodes, but I had a lot more that I wasn't hospitalized for that I probably could have been. So if I had to guess, I'd say at least 10 mm-hmm. or more. They started to get worse and worse until I had to get hospitalized from them, but then eventually I learned how to cope with the manic symptoms to the point where I've had experiences where I would normally have gone to the hospital for treatment, but I was able to know that these symptoms would go away in time if I just had better sleeping cycles, took my medication, just had less stress, took care of myself better. So I've been able to, even if I have some manic symptoms, which I still do from time to time, I'm better to cope with them now and understand what's happening to me.
Okay. Is there a certain season, like I have a season. My season is spring. Like that's when I become kind of like I get into my mania a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have like a certain season like that?
It seemed, for me, like it kind of seemed like it was spring at first, but then they just started happening all the time, like every season. But I know in the spring with more light and the time change, that has typically I'd say maybe I've had a bit more then, but then, and in the winter I've probably had a bit more depression because there's less light, but I've honestly had them all times of the year, and if I've had them more in the spring, it's probably just only been a little bit more than other times.
And what's the one thing you like have really learned about yourself through these mental health experiences?
I'd say the main thing that I learned is that no matter how chaotic that your life is, and whether it's from mental health issues, whether it's from anything like negative that's weighing you down, whether it's from like criminal records or getting involved with crime, whether it's from like abuse, like whatever it is that's really weighing you down, the trauma, that you can get through it, you can work through it, you can make progress and get your life back together, and you can feel happy, you can feel good, you can contribute again. But it's just a process. Like the recovery journey, it takes long, and it's different for everybody. Like for some people, they might figure it out in a year or a few years. It might take other people 10 years, but just the key is not to give up and just having hope that you can make progress and you can feel better, and you can get out of that state. Like it does feel like you're trapped, but it's possible to get out of it.
And what does your recovery journey look like today?
Today, I do my best to keep good self-care habits. Like I do my best to go to bed around the same time, wake up around the same time, eat healthy, exercise. Music is a huge part of it. Working on rap, make beats sometimes, but these days mostly rap. We perform, record the Mindful MCs, so that's huge. Speaking as well, being a mental health advocate is a huge part of my recovery journey, to be able to contribute and give back, like taking a negative and turning it into a positive by sharing it with other people, and just being open too, just being open to learning new things and trying new things, because I don't have the formula for recovery. I don't have it all figured out. So learning from other people. Actually, yeah, one more big thing I would say is not beating yourself up, because actually the more guilty that you make yourself feel, and the more you beat yourself up, the longer that you stay trapped in your suffering, and the longer it takes for you to recover. So like if I have a bad day or a bad couple of days, I don't beat myself up now. If anything, I just like laugh about it and try and look on the bright side and just know I'll get through it and I'll get out of it, so I won't stay trapped there.
Thank you, Meshach. I appreciate you.
No problem.
I'm gonna turn to Bryan now. Bryan, let's talk a little bit about your story. So, what were the Wonder Years like for you? I call them the Wonder Years. I'm showing my age. It's a show that used to come on when I was a kid about being a kid. So, what was being a kid like for you?
A kid, for me, was, I guess, socializing. I would socialize to a lot of people. I would talk to like a bunch of children at the park. When I started growing up, I think I started to realize that socializing I started to disconnect myself a little. Mm-hmm. So around elementary school, I noticed I was not involved in activities as I was when I was just a couple of years younger. Mm-hmm. So around that time, my parents, they were getting a divorce, and we were going through some hard times, seeing them fight a lot, me and my siblings. I had 2 dogs at the time too. Mm-hmm. So as time went on, I started struggling a little bit with school and keeping my grades up in elementary school. So I was moving a lot, and I think I spent that summer after I graduated elementary school and in a home for like 2 months, and then we moved again. Mm-hmm. So when I got to Toronto, that's when I started to try to take my life in a new direction in high school and try harder and really focus on getting my goals right. And it only got to the later years where I started, again, the same cycle. I started socializing a lot in grade 9, grade 10, mm-hmm. grade 11. I was doing well with my grades, but then around grade 11 to 12, that's when I started isolating myself again and feeling a little disconnected, that I couldn't feel that I could speak to people and they understood what I was going through. So I think at that point I knew something was going wrong. I just was never diagnosed at the time. I opened up to someone. It was my girlfriend at the time. I told her that I had depression, but I was never diagnosed with it at the time. So that's when, at that point, there was like one person that knew what was going on. I didn't talk to my family about this or anything. It was up until my, first, because I had 2 dogs at the time. My first dog, when we had to put him down, that's when a lot of my symptoms started revealing and showing, and it was getting hard for me to just hide it. So I started to kind of feel super paranoid or get into a lot of fights, physical fights, anger bursts to everyone around me, friends, family, relationships. And then I was hospitalized slowly after that.
Okay, and what was it like, that hospitalization?
Yeah, so I was actually in hospital under a Form 1 where they kind of put you in a place where, like, in a safe spot where you can't really move or you're confined to a certain space.
I call it the bad side.
That's what you call it?
The bad side versus the good side.
Okay.
Yeah, so the bad side, I know the bad side. You're isolated. You're in a room by yourself. You have no company.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I call it like Arkham Asylum just because I watch a lot of Batman as a kid. So yeah, I was in Arkham Asylum for a bit. I didn't meet the Joker. He escaped at that point. But yeah, I was in the child care, and I was on like lockdown too. So I couldn't leave. It was kind of me just trying to find who I was. And when I was trying to take a shower, every task was like so much longer. So I would try to take a shower, and sometimes I would just be there for hours. I'd have like the nurses come and be like, "Hey, Brian, are you okay? Are you still showering?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I am. I'm just sitting here."
Everything was like a task or a chore.
Yeah, it was like it took so much effort to do everything. So I had a lot of paper and pencils that I would just spend my days just writing and writing and writing and writing. My family visited me a bunch of times, which was nice, and friends too, because they would bring me pizza, which was amazing.
Because hospital food is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was in that state, I got to meet people who were in a similar place as me, a little bit unsure where their life was, not really understanding the feelings that were going inside. I was diagnosed with depression and early psychosis in the hospital. And I remember a lot of the times I would kind of either have a really good connection with the nurses or I would just feel disconnected. But I noticed the longer time I was there, I started to feel like myself again. And it was only until one person came in and I actually wrote a song for them. And when I shared that song with them, because they're super, super, like, not feeling well, that's when I saw, like, a glimmer of hope in their eyes. And that's when I was like, okay, I could actually help people going through something similar.
Wow. I just want to quickly talk about your psychosis. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was very different. I remember a bunch of times I would run away from home because I lived in an apartment. I was on the 3rd floor. And there was one time where I got into a fight with my brother. And I thought he wasn't gonna hit me, but I felt like everyone was against me and everyone was attacking me. So then I ended up jumping off the balcony, and then I ended up jumping on the other building, and I kind of made my way down by jumping on some garbage cans and stuff. So it was a lot of paranoia that I felt. I felt people were out to get me. I was super angry. I feel like everything that people were doing was wrong. Only I was right, and I kind of knew everything, which was not reality. So I was working as a supervisor at the time too. at a job, and every time I would go to work, I would just feel like exhausted because I wouldn't be able to sleep because I had so many racing thoughts going on in my head, and I was trying to every time I was trying to write music, it was not working out as clear or concise as it did in my head. So then when I would write it down, it would just frustrate me, and I would kind of hide it from people around me too. So people knew I was like writing, but I'll do it very, very hiddenly because I was scared of people judging me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had this episode. You've been hospitalized. What was life after the hospital like for you?
Oh yeah. So after the hospital, that's when I started seeking my own recovery. So I got connected with a program called CMHA, the Canadian Mental Health Association, where there I was able to speak to someone one-on-one. And first time I think I sat there, it was just like crickets. It was just like like they were talking to me, but I wasn't.
I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say to you.
Yeah, it was weird for me, therapy, but it wasn't therapy at the same time. It was healing. So as I started to see her more often, there was one time where she told me, "Hey, I see that you write a lot," because I would just write and I would just kind of ignore her. So she's like, "How about, are you able to show me something like next week? Just write something and show it to me." So I said, okay. I took it as an opportunity. So I wrote this, I think it was like a poem / like spoken word rap. So when I showed it to her, I remember her face. She was like, "Wow, you are feeling a lot." And that was like the first time where I was like, okay, someone kind of understands what I'm going through. And it was through my words, and that was my expression. So I kind of made it a habit, and I started writing her something every 2 weeks, if not every week, and I would show it to her every single time. And yeah, it was a beautiful process because it got me to understand what I'm like, and how others can relate to. Yeah.
That's perfect. So now I'm going to talk to you two about Mindful MCs. I want to hear all about it. Who wants to go first?
All right, yeah. I'll speak about it first. Yeah, Mindful MCs has been around for over 2 years now. The original 3 members met at a CAMH program called Learn. Shout out to Learn. It was super impactful in my recovery. And yeah, it's part of the Slate Center, and we just really connected over hip-hop and our shared experience of mental health struggles. And then so we just started performing at these talent shows, coffee houses that they had for a little while, until we started getting some fans among them, and we started getting our first paid gigs. And the crew expanded. We got 5 members now, and with our current crew, we've been doing paid gigs for over a year now at a bunch of different venues, from like music festivals, arts festivals, mostly mental health events, though some community events.
Okay.
Yeah. I met actually Meshach, one of the performance we did at CMHA.
Right.
You were doing the drums, weren't you?
I did a spoken word, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, but you were also like, I remember at the back you were playing drums. That's why I remember that. But yeah, you did do a spoken word. That's how we met at a small just get-together performance. I knew another member, and I knew his brother, which is another member too.
Yeah.
And then I met Jamie. So it's Jamie, Jamal, Hernan, Meshach, and Bryan.
Yeah. So we knew each other for like 4 years before we were in the group together. We were already friends.
Yeah.
Did you guys know about each other's mental health journeys? Were you guys aware that you guys had all this stuff going on between the whole bunch of you?
I think we knew because we were in the program, but we never spoke about it.
Yeah.
We did a lot of freestyling though in the basement. That was fun.
Yeah. We would get together and freestyle. Yeah, we knew about it. We didn't go in depth. We learned about it more and more over the years, especially because we made a documentary together and doing these interviews and performances. even today, I learned some new things about your story.
Yeah, same here with you.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you mentioned freestyle just now.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you want to do it?
Yeah, sure.
You doing it together, separately?
Take turns.
Take turns?
turns.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right, here's Meshach and Bryan of the Mindful MCs.
So I'll do the first one. Yeah. So this is a freestyle. Hope you guys enjoy. 2, 3, 4. Never say, let it get you down, and don't you forget it. Ooh. Never stray, sail far away. You should know the truth is here today, bro. And never say, let it get you down, and don't you forget it. Never stray, sail far away. You should know the truth is here today, bro. I don't know when to say never. Sail away the theme of my day. I stay clever. I wanna stay, but my fate in my way is Satan coming to play, and I chase him away today. Stuck in the rut. I'm wrapped like I'm tut. My eyes wide shut, but I don't give a fuck, bro. No, I don't give a fuck, bro. It's like the same damn shit, but a different day. It's like the same damn job with a different pay. Stuck in the bed so long, stuck with the same damn thoughts. Stuck in the bed so long, you don't know right from wrong. Close your eyes and you don't even know who's alive and where did all the time go. Close your eyes and you don't even grow. Pain into your body and that pain into your soul. Never say, let it get you down, and don't you forget it. Never stray, sail far away. You should know the truth is here today, bro.
Till I swallow all the liquor in the bottle. Aye. Then I sleep, then I wallow. Digging deeper in the solid to a bleaker there's tomorrow. When I feel a buzz, then I vomit. And I need a hug, to be honest. Aye. When I need a love, and we're breaking up, and I'm shaking up, an alcoholic. Having bad dreams, living life at the greatest. Living mad dreams, you're highly dedicated. Living sad dreams, it's never too late till you make it. Long as you dream well, you got a story to tell.
Story to tell.
Story to tell.
Aye.
Story to tell.
Woo! Fire. That was great, guys. Thank you. So much. Thank you so much. So what is next for the Mindful MCs? What is coming up?
Well, we've got a song coming out that's by far going to be our best song that nobody's heard, and it's not going to get leaked. That's coming out next Friday, the 11th, for World Mental Health Day. You want to say a little about it?
Are we to say the name?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, the name of the track is called Depression. We're super excited because we worked very collaboratively on this project, and we worked as a big team on this. It's gonna be probably one of the fun ones.
Yeah, and we worked with an amazing producer for the first time. Like, we've had a long journey in the music industry, going through a lot of difficult ups and downs. So yeah, it feels amazing. We worked with an amazing producer with a lot of awards who helped guide us, and he's gonna make it sound sick. So yeah.
So we're gonna put your link below in our infos to make sure everyone knows when this song is coming out. I'm very excited to hear it myself.
Yeah, all the major streaming platforms, by the way.
All the major streaming platforms. You want to name a few of them?
Well, for sure, on the 11th, will be out on your Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, and what is it? Tidal, Deezer, Amazon, TikTok. I think is a new one that we just got on. So.
Okay, perfect. So I'll make sure we get that information after the podcast. Final question for both of you. Meshach and Bryan, and you can obviously answer this separately. Who are you today?
Ooh, that's a good one.
You want to start this one?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I am someone who's trying to make a difference, not in just myself, but in my surroundings. I want to inspire others to kind of recover and work to something bigger and greater. Yeah.
Nice.
Inspire over desire.
Inspire over desire. Yeah.
That's his slogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, today I'm a person who's always seeking to be able to live each day like it could be my last day, in terms of getting the most out of it being the happiest I can be, saying the things I really want to say, doing the things I really want to do, and it's a process. And today I feel good. I feel like I'm getting closer to doing that, just being grateful, doing my best to contribute, inspire all that jazz. But life is short, so have fun too.
Have fun.
Is there anyone you guys would like to give a shout out to before we wrap it up?
Yeah. MC Gratitude,
MCET,
J Small, the other members that couldn't make it today.
Yeah. Our
My
producer.
mom, Susan, that's the first time I've shouted her out.
Gotta shout out Mom. All right. If you guys want to reach the Mindful MCs, we're going to be putting their info in the link below. And if you want to reach me to say hello, or if you want to say hi to the guys, you can reach them at Dysh at daintydysh.com. That's DYSH at DAINTYDYSH.com. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5. Use number 5.
Yeah, do it.
If you're listening to us on any other platform, thank you very much. Please subscribe and like and love. That is all. You guys have given your shout outs, so we're going to wrap it up. Cool. That has been the Dysh of the day. And wait, I forgot one very important thing. This is being aired during Mental Illness Awareness Week in Canada, guys. We thought we'd do something a little different, incorporate music and mental health, and I think it went spectacularly. And I hope you guys tune in, and happy Mental Illness Awareness Week. That has been the Dysh of the day. I hope you guys have yourselves a very, very, very happy Monday.